What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to of course be talking about with you guys. This time I actually wanted to talk about the very recent news that actually suggests that the Toronto Raptors will be heavily interested in potentially bringing in Rudy Gobert, and this is all being reported by Mark Stein. I actually think Rudy Gobert would be absolutely insane in Toronto. Like, I realistically think he would put them, to the team where you could say, well, are they nearly one of the best teams in the league? Because you'd realistically look at a rotation of having Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and Gobert, three practical all-stars, with Scotty Barnes, who's coming through to potentially be an all-star himself. And if they manage to keep OG or Gary Trent, you've got two guys that are extremely good role players that average like 17, 18 per game. So realistically, it would be a pretty interesting move, and I see a lot of people saying that the Utah Jazz are gonna, blow it up and this and that. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think Utah know that they've got Donovan Mitchell for a extremely long time, most likely, so they'll probably just maybe blow up the team but keep, Donovan Mitchell and just try and build around him still. Again, I could see a guy like Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert both being traded potentially. I don't know where, but again, we know that Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell reportedly aren't exactly on the best terms and haven't been for quite a while. And considering Gobert's still averaging 15 and 15 as one of the best defenders every night, you'd think he would have quite a bit of interest surrounding his name. And yeah, I genuinely believe a team out there will most likely go for him. Now, we know that the Dallas Mavericks are also interested in Rudy Gobert. I think that the Clippers will probably come as a team that could be, but again, I don't know if he fits in what Ty Lue is trying to do. You would think the Lakers would, really be pushing for a dude like Rudy Gobert, but again, they've just got no one to trade. Sacramento Kings could be looking for a new center soon. I think they might roll with Sabonis at the 4. I don't know how that would go. You imagine if they got Gobert as well, it'd be one interesting team. And again, that's just in the Western Conference. You got the Hornets in the East who will be absolutely interested. The Raptors, and yeah, I think the Raptors will be one of the ones that will pursue. Although I don't necessarily know if the Raptors will land him, as I think they've kind of built a really good foundation where the only thing they need to do now is go and get some more good quality bench players, which they've of course tried to do with Thad Young. And again, when they, actually tried to sign Cam Birch in the offseason when they eventually got him, it's a pretty interesting thing. When I talk about their foundation, I say Siakam, VanVleet, Trent Jr., Anunoby, Scotty Barnes. I think they're 5 guys who are deep into this core. And then you've still got Precious Achiuwa, who has been pretty good for them. Chris Boucher, who just seems like a Raptor. I don't know if he'll necessarily get another team that's interested in him, or he'll just come back to the Raptors. They just really need to fill out that bench. I don't necessarily know if going for Rudy Gobert will solve everything, because to get Rudy Gobert, you're going to have to match up contracts, and that would most likely be trading OG, who's on they'll probably get him to be on 20 million. Boucher will probably be on 10 million soon, and someone else to try and match up contracts, and you're going to have to throw in at least a first or two to try and get him. And yeah, look, I know OG Anunoby is such a quality player, but we got to remember that Gobert's still a 3-time defensive player of the year or something like that, something crazy. Plus, he's an all-star, and he still averages 15 and 15 per night. It's not going to be easy to trade for that guy, but again, a really good player like OG and a first and a couple other solid role players could potentially get the deal done. But in my opinion, if I was the Raptors, I think there is a guy out there who 100% fits their team that I would go for, and that's actually Mo Bamba. We know that it looks like the Magic are set on Wendell Carter. In my opinion, he could possibly be their best player. He averages 15, 10 and a half, and he's somehow a pretty good shooter now, 32% from 3, 61% on 2-point shots. Dude, somehow became a good shooter. Out of the blue, I mean, I don't think he was really shooting that well on the Bulls. I guess, 29% is not bad for a center, but again, he kind of came out of the nowhere and actually started shooting well. I think they're going to want him to be their next center, and that's where I think Mo Bamba will be put on the trade block. We already know that the Raptors are interested in him, and Mo Bamba's actually had a really solid year for a dude that's, consistently battling for rebounds, etc. with, Wendell Carter. And goddamn, Mo Bamba is a really good shooter. 37% from 3, 94 of 255. And realistically, he's averaging 10.5 points right now and 8 rebounds. But imagine if he went to the Raptors where he was like the #1 rebounder. He could quite average like 10 or 11. And I think he could eventually even get more minutes. He's on 26 right now. He'd possibly play like 28 to 30. Could average like 12 a game. And you're looking at a player that could average you 12 and 10 on 37% from 3. And has been a pretty solid defender, averaging 1.5 blocks per game for the Magic. I think if this Magic team had a lot more depth at the forward positions, and again, players like Suggs and that were a little bit better. I know they're rookies, but if they were a little bit better, the team could actually be pretty good. But again, I think Mo Bamba, it'd be a cheapish option too. I know the Raptors wouldn't exactly have to really do that much to match up contracts. I think he's on 10 million. You could probably just re-sign Boucher and give them a couple seconds, and that could work out for both teams. Again, the Magic would get to make Carter Jr. their, main guy, while I guess they would lose Mo Bamba, who's done alright for them this season, but they'd get a couple seconds in and get a backup big in Chris Boucher. And then you could be realistically looking at something like that, which I think would look extremely interesting and I think very, very decent. And it's just, well, this is the more cheaper option. It's the probably better option because you don't have to give up a player like OG and first. I realistically see a big way where this legitimately happens in the Mo Bamba scheme rather than the Rudy Gobert type of fit. But of course, that's just my thoughts and opinions. Some might say that I have asked for too much for Gobert. Some might say I have not asked for enough. It's really hard to kind of please everyone and know what legitimately every single person wants and, how that's all going to go. And realistically, there's going to be a team out there that drastically overpays for him. Like, look at the Hornets, who are realistically one center away. I don't think that Terry Rozier is necessarily working a whole lot right now on the Hornets, and he's on 20 million. I know he's actually done really well, averaging like 19 again this season, but I just wonder if they want to go for another taller guard, or maybe give a guy like James Bouknight or something more minutes at that guard position very, very soon. And then, Gordon Hayward could be thrown into the trade as well. It could be one of the two. He could be a dude that Utah might look to bring back. I really doubt it, but if the Jazz were offered like Mason Plumlee, Terry Rozier, and a couple first for Rudy Gobert, you just wonder if they do it. I know Mitchell and Rozier would be really, really small, but that backcourt would be really, really fun to watch offensively. But defensively, maybe not. So I'm not too sure if they do that. It'd probably be the Gordon Hayward and a couple first for Rudy Gobert would be the more realistic swap. And I guess if the Jazz could get Gordon Hayward back to his best, that would be a pretty good move in my opinion. But a lot of things going down. Of course, I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA news and NBA content. Of course, don't forget to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys think any of these teams will trade for Rudy Gobert? Do you guys think that the Toronto Raptors will be in the front seat? Or do you think they'll go for a different dude like Mo Bamba? Of course, I would very much like to know. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave, like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.